Yes. This is wildly different from what the other content that I do. I know, I'm aware, but hi, I am Puppeteers, and I have recently gone through all of the Norse God of War games, and I'm kind of fucking obsessed with God of War now. I never expected myself in a million years to be addicted to this series as much as I am. This is a little video to hold off from the Q&A. I know people are here for the Walton Files, but I just want to make something that's for me at the end of the day. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get into it, shall we? All right. So this is going to be a character tier list, actually, of all of the Norse God of War characters. Before you watch this video, I need to pause the music for a second. But oh my god, if I am like if there's one thing you need to take away from this video, then take away this. Do not watch this video unless you go through the story. I know people don't have access to a PS5 or a PS4. I would just go watch some game movies about God of War 4 and Ragnarok. Those are the two Norse games in the series so far, and they are some of the best storytelling I have ever seen in the history of ever, I think. I fucking love all of it so much, and I couldn't be happier. When I'm about to get into why, dude. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So if there's a takeaway, go watch God of War 4 and 5. Or I guess God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. And Valhalla too. It's the three. I guess it's kind of a trilogy now. I mean, Valhalla is a DLC to Ragnarok, but it's like its own thing. You know how expansion packs works. Anyway, back to the video. All right. So first of all, up we have Kratos, the man, the myth, the legend. Kratos has been through some shit, and he's a really flawed character in 4. He is a serious jackass to his son at the beginning of the game. I mean, he doesn't really know how to be a father, and Faye knew that. Hang on, let me change the ranks real quick, to S tier, B tier, A tier, that kind of thing. All right, sorry about that. As I was saying, Kratos, I know lots of little bits and pieces from the original God of War trilogy, the Grease trilogy, as you will. Kratos was a fucking monster. He had everything taken from him, but as a result, took his vengeance out on innocents and killed a lot of people who didn't deserve it. He killed so many people in Greece. He basically destroyed the entire world on his quest for vengeance against his father, Zeus! You know? But I'm talking about the Norse games. But I need to mention the Greece games real quick because they are essential to his character, obviously. When going into it, I was kind of fearful that they weren't going to pay the Greece games any mind because I heard it was a reboot. But no, it's not a fucking reboot. It's a reboot in gameplay for sure, but not in story. This is a continuation from the Greece trilogy. God, this fucking soundtrack is so good, dude. Anyways, I fucking love Kratos. His development is genuinely some of the best in any fictional media, into a good person. And the ending where Faye draws for him, his on her mural at the end of the game in Ragnarok, she drew Kratos being respected and worshipped by mortals, and oh my god, dude. When I saw that scene for the first time, that I felt it. Even though I didn't see much of the Grease games before this, it's fucking amazing how much like Kratos' emotions made me feel so fucking happy for him, even though I don't fully know like what's going on with Kratos. Like I don't know like every single little thing. I know the really big important stuff from the Greece trilogy, like he accidentally killed his own wife and child because Ares is a piece of shit. Ares is the original god of war. And Ares gave Kratos the power to kill a god. I mean, the Pandora's box technically did and won, but I'll have to go through the Greece games at some point in length. I really need to, for sure, story-wise. It'll just be fun to see young Kratos fuck shit up, even though he's like a terrible person by the end of a third game. Like, when I say terrible, I mean horrifyingly terrible. But like after a while, he like mellows out near 4, you know? And like his development throughout the games is just something to behold. It's what like stories should follow in terms of like a very flawed character. If you want to continue their story, build them up to be good. It's never too late for anyone, you know? If they want to change, they can, and Kratos is a goddamn prime example of that. So I'm putting Kratos in fucking S tier. Top so far, but yeah. He's the GOAT. Kratos is the fucking GOAT. I love him so much. I could gush about Kratos for a while. And he's said some really impactful things. Like, I don't have my father in my life anymore. And, you know, I'm a little more closed off than I used to be. Like, because of some events that happened, like 3 years ago now or something. Someone betrayed me. Someone, like, just fucking, like, abandoned me when I needed them. And, you know, I'll never forgive shit like that. And it changed the way I work. I don't trust people that easily anymore. Sorry if this is a little too personal, but I just wanted some context as to why I think Kratos is such a good character. He became a great dad, too. Like, the fact that he found redemption through his own son and his wife, which I'll talk about later, because she's on this list, but it's insane to me the amount of development this dude goes through. I literally cannot cover it. Like, it's already been, like, almost 10 minutes, and this is, like, a very TLDR of it. I should create a... No, I'll keep that a surprise. But anyway, sorry. God, my fucking ADHD having ass. My glasses are fogging up. It's hot in here. Ugh. Okay, anyways, yeah, Kratos is at the top of S tier so far. Next is Atreus. Atreus is a really, really great character. Even though he's had a lot of screen time in both games, he's been a brat in a lot of them, but like that's the way he's supposed to be written, and the writers do a great job of like balancing him out. And I love him in 4 especially because he speaks very maturely for his age, and like the fact that his god powers is like understanding language. It's like a really underrated power. Like, the power to understand any language immediately, even lost languages, is such a fucking cool concept. And not to mention, he's goddamn Loki, the little trickster, as Odin calls him. But dude, yeah, Atreus is a really fucking compelling character to me. He always has been. I repeat a lot of his phrases. Like, I relate to him a lot. Like, in terms of, like, having empathy for people still. Like, it's crazy to me, like, how much, like some of the characters relates to me. Like, I feel Atreus, and I feel like the neglect he goes through in 4. Because, you know, my own father neglected me my whole life. He was an alcoholic who abandoned his family. And his family also abandoned us in our time of need. And, you know, they're dead to me. And, you know, Kratos was kind of a bad father at the beginning of God of War 4. Kratos was just scared of what his son will learn. Like, that he slaughtered an entire pantheon of gods because of revenge against what has been done to him, you know? He was afraid. And that's why Kratos and Atreus work so well together, is they lift each other up and support each other. It's very rocky in both games, but by the end of the Norse trilogy, oh my god, it's like some of the best development I've ever seen. I'm not going to spoil too much. I mean I am pretty much, because like, to understanding one of my favorite characters and genuinely somebody that I kin, I'll have to spoil the entirety of Ragnarok, like what happens at the end of Ragnarok, which kind of sucks. I really want you guys to go watch like God of War 4 and Ragnarok. Like the true ending of Ragnarok, bro. I literally can't. Jesus, this fucking music. I'm sorry. Sorry, it keeps getting to me. It's just so good. But yeah, grown up Atreus is a really compelling character. I love him as Loki. He's a giant. Not a frost giant, but a giant. He subverts all of the Norse mythology and MCU Norse mythology expectations in a very great way. I especially love him and Angrboda's relationship. I hope they get a definite married. I hope they get married in the future. But yeah, just behind Kratos is Atreus, S tier character. Someone I really relate to. He has a lot of compassion. And like when Kratos tells him to open his heart to people's suffering during the war that could destroy everything, it's literally one of the best scenes in the entire series. But I don't think they're my favorite scenes. I'll get to them when I get to them. Let's see who else we got here. But yeah, bottom line, Atreus is a fucking amazing character. I love him so much. And I love bows and arrows too, so it's great. Let's move on to Laufey, the giant, who didn't reveal herself to be as such to Kratos or Atreus until the end of God of War 4 through murals. The flashbacks that we get of Ragnarok of her are genuinely some of the most emotionally impacting moments for Kratos' character specifically. And her as her own character is fucking cool. We learn through like a side quest that Laufey had a fucking like rage to her. She had fury, just like Kratos. It's like no wonder they ended up together. Like yeah, we learned that like Thor was like stirring up trouble somewhere, and then Laufey like fucking like battled him as an equal, and like that shit is awesome. I'm glad that like Faye knows how to fight and stuff. It's really cool. Like it's no wonder why Atreus is so powerful. He has a part god, part giant, part mortal. I don't really get the part mortal part though. Like Kratos is a god, but he's also part mortal because he used to be a like human guy. And then fucking Faye is also a giant, but also immortal too. Like, was Faye's mom or dad like immortal? I'm not sure, but it's really amazing. Like how Atreus is like 25% of a bit of everything. So he's 25% giant, 25% god, and 25% mortal, and I guess more giant. Like the other 25% is more like god than anything, because Kratos' DNA is very strong. He's got the power, you know. But anyways, Faye's line about going through grief, like grief is having being loved fully, is genuinely such a true line, and it makes me love being an adult. I'm so glad I can understand all of these complex things and all these grown-up things and shit, you know. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like it's like you have a brain and you think about these things like when you get older, you know. It's like when you lose someone, you know, it's fucking hard as shit to deal with, man. It really is. But at the end of the day, if you are grieving someone, you love them as much as you possibly could, to the best of your ability. And that is a very strong message, and that needs to be heard. Which is why I really hope everyone here has seen God of War, because it's genuinely such a strong message, and the acting and the choreography in every single Norse game is fucking phenomenal. It's great. I really, really like it. Faye got some really great screen time in Ragnarok. This is my list, so I'm sorry to say, but Faye is like going above Atreus to me. Hello? Okay, there we go. Because like her message, like her voice and her actress and her character and everything related about her is genuinely just so, like, it speaks to me in a way that like nothing else really has, like in terms of media, you know? Like, dude, like how gentle she is with this fucking god who's killed millions of people, innocent people. Like, she literally played the I can fix him game and won. Like, dude, that I have her undying respect. Like, it's genuinely such a miracle that Atreus turned out the way that he did, and it's because of Faye too. It's not just because of Kratos, it's because of her too. She was Atreus's mom too, you know. So I mean, I love Atreus, I relate to him a lot, but what Faye teaches throughout the series cannot be understated, which is why she's going slightly above Atreus. This is a really hard list, but I feel like it's fair. Plus, it is my list after all. Let's move on. Let's move on to wifey, Freya. Freya is one of the best written characters in God of War 4. Like, everything related to her story with Baldur and Odin. I mean, he is Odin. He outlived Zeus. He outlived Zeus. But anyways, I really like Freya. I really like Freya. What happened with, like, so if you guys don't know, Freya is the goddess of Vanaheim along with her brother Freyr, and they like fought in the war between the Aesir and the Vanir, and Freya had to give up everything. She had to marry Odin so like Odin would leave Vanaheim alone. I mean, the Vanaheim like fought their hardest, and like their numbers were like superior to the Aesir at times, but Freya had to give up fucking everything on her blood family just to stop the war. And a lot of people fucking hated her, and that's like tragic enough already. But like it's crazy to me because like Freya married Odin to stop this war, and what Odin gave to Freya in return was Baldur. In regular Norse mythology, Baldur's mother was called Frigg, but Odin and the rest of his like family, like who were born at the time anyway, called her that. Like, so Freya and Frigg are the same person in this mythology. So that's pretty cool. I like how it's like a condescending nickname to her now. Like that's what she was called by all the Aesir. And yeah, that's it's a really condescending name now that I really think about it. And one day Freya was like sought the Norns out, which are the prophecies of this world. Like they're basically like fortune tellers. They like tell everyone their future. And they were like, yeah, your son is going to die a needless death, sorry. And like Freya thought there was nothing she could do to change that. Like, prophecies would be set in stone. So she wanted to break that prophecy. She wanted to subvert it and keep Baldur alive. but as a result made a really huge mistake. She cast an invulnerability spell on Balder, which might sound great, you know, but as a result, the invulnerability has the side effect of losing all of your senses. All 5 of your senses gone in an instant. So the invulnerability comes with never-ending numbness. What an absolutely horrifying existence to live, especially as a god like Balder. Because Freya and Odin are 2 gods, so Balder is going to live like this forever. And Balder was not fucking happy, as you could imagine, and he tried to kill her, but he relents and is like, I never want to see you again. Why would you do this to me? And Balder as a character I will go into a little bit more later on. But like, yeah, and like God of War 4, like despite like being, so what happens next after that is like Freya gets exiled to Midgard and lost the ability to fight, essentially. She can't go to any other realm. She can't do anything without like being like going like just portaled back to Midgard because Odin put a spell on her. It's really fucking cruel. Like, not only like did Odin twist Balder's mind to make it seem like it was all Freya's fault. I mean, it was Freya's fault, but like probably twisted his mind more to like make Freya look more antagonistic. But like after marrying the fucking bastard, Odin was like, lol, we're not married anymore. You fucking ruined my son's life, and then like just put that spell on her. It's awful. But what we see in God of War 4, like before, like I'm talking about events that we never really see, but like in terms of the lore, it is told to us. But Freya is actually really compassionate and caring at the end of the day. Like, even though she lost everything, she seems very well off in Midgard. Like, her place is very colorful and, like, just vibrant as hell. And, like, everything there is nice and colorful, and she lives in a freaking giant turtle, and it's really cool and awesome. Yeah, man. It's awesome. But, like, Freya... Oh man, what happens to her in 4 is really fucked up as well. Freya's son Balder ends up like doing like everything that Odin says back in Asgard. And one day Odin's like, "Hey, I need you to track down the last giant in Midgard because I know they exist. So I need you to go do that for me, Balder, because you're like my best tracker and everything." And he's like, "Okay." And then because the last giant in Midgard was Lefay, and she died due to some unknown reason. We still don't know how she died. Spoiler alert, but it's what happens. Balder ends up finding Kratos instead and thinks that he's the giant. And he's like, "Oh, I thought your people were supposed to be so enlightened and everything." And then like Kratos and Balder fight, but then they don't like discover that Balder is Freya's son until they like get transported to Helheim. It's a long story. I need to go over Freya. Anyways, like there was just this one time where they just stumble across Freya one day and they don't know who she is. They don't know that she's a god or anything like that. And like Atreus accidentally shoots her friend, Hildisvini, like a boar pig, which, spoiler alert, doesn't just turn out to be fucking just a boar. It turns out to be a guy, a Vanaheim guy to be precise. Like, I think he had a spell put on him or something. Anyways, Freya was like, you did this to him, now you have to help me. And she has a commanding presence even after all this time. She helps out like Atreus and Kratos quite a bit in the story. And so the goal of the story is to spread Kratos and Atreus to spread Lefay's ashes on the highest peak in all the realms. They thought it was the highest peak in Midgard specifically, But that turned out not to be the case. What they found out up top was Mimir, the smartest man alive, and they discovered that Jotunheim has the highest peak in all the realms, which makes sense because Faye is a giant. But Kratos and Atreus don't know that quite yet in the story. So, like, there's Kratos is like, what do we need to do to help you like get out of this? Like, cause he's in bonds, like tree bonds, like nothing can break through them, not even Thor's hammer. But what ends up happening is Kratos has to chop off his head and bring it to Freya, and she's like, oh, do you have any idea who head you just fucking chopped off? Because long story short, Mimir worked for Odin at one point, and Mimir negotiated like the marriage between Odin and Freya. So Freya blames Mimir a lot for what happened to her in terms of like losing Vanaheim and stuff like that. And like after, spoiler alert, but Mimir gets revived. It's not really a spoiler. He's in both games, but his head gets revived rather. He bewitches him to not speak about Baldur or any of his weaknesses because he was there during that time between the War of the Aesir and the Vanir. But he doesn't know that he was bewitched. So like Freya's like, Mimir, is that you? And he's like, yeah, it's me. And then they don't know, like Atreus and Kratos know of the gods in this land, but they don't know that like this witch of the woods is Freya herself, like the goddess Freya. And when Atreus like finds out from Mimir during that scene, he's like, you didn't know either? Sorry. And then Kratos, being the god hater that he is, he's like, you're a fucking god? He's like, yeah, of the Vanir once, but no more. And like Kratos is like, do you really think you shouldn't have told me? You should have told me sooner. And rightfully, Freya retorts back, are you really going to fucking lecture me about that? Because another plot point in the game is that Atreus has this illness that like plagues him like throughout the first third of the game, or I guess first half ish, around there, because he doesn't know that he's a god either. Like he just thinks he's this mortal like guy, this mortal child, and like Freya immediately picks up on it, and like dude, it's so like hypocritical that Kratos is like, you didn't think it was important to tell me that you were a god, even though I'm not going to tell my own kid that is actively dying from like not knowing that he's a god. Like, are you really did you not want to tell me that? And Freya's like, bruh, that's a bruh moment. You're a bruh moment, Kratos. And then Kratos storms out like a big baby. And then long story short, some time passes. Atreus gets like sick, like maximum sick, and like he's gonna die. And then like the only way that Kratos can like save him at all is to like bring him to Freya's house. Jesus Christ, I get the two mixed up a lot name wise because they both sound alike. Anyways, Freya without hesitation helps Kratos, and God, there's so much about Freya, dude. But then later on, Kratos comes back with like an artifact that he needs, and like Freya like teaches him some of the things, like how to care for a child, because you know Freya took care of Baldur at one point, which I really wish we could have seen more of through flashbacks, like Baldur as a little boy or something. Like even though Freya hated Odin and like hates Odin even more than words could ever describe, like man, like it would just be so cool to see like other Aesir interacting with Frigg, I should call her. No, I shouldn't. I'm sorry, Freya. I know you don't like that name. But anyways, she then like joins up with them later near the end of the game and is like, I'm looking for my son. But she doesn't explicitly say that it's Baldur, But Kratos and Atreus know from Helheim that they do know that Freya has a son, and that son in question is Balder. Long story short, they grow wary of her, and Freya's like, why are you, what do you know? What happened? And then fucking Balder shows up to wreck shit up once again. He's tries to kill his own mother. Kratos tries to kill him, but he's immortal. And then like mistletoe, like the material of mistletoe, is the one weakness that Balder has towards his invincibility. So Atreus just so happened to have like a mistletoe, like holding the quiver strap of his bow together, and Balder punched it, and the spell wore off, and he could finally feel shit again. And it was like a really cool moment for Balder, because I felt fucking bad for Balder. Imagine like how meaningless life would be without feeling a single thing. Like literally just numbness. I know I said that already, but yeah. And Danielle Bushati, I think that's what her name is. Danielle Basutti, sorry. Sorry, I called you Bushiti. I really didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to be funny or anything. Yeah, so what ends up happening is like Freya's like, no, and then like they're like Atreus and Kratos are about to fight Balder again, and then Freya fucking revives a giant's dead corpse. And then long story short, Balder and Kratos fight. Freya almost dies because of Balder, and like she just lets him kill her, cuz like she's like, if my death will make you whole for what I did to you, then I won't stop you. And Kratos kind of robbed her of that choice, and he fucking kills Balder anyway. And that fucking sends her into a rampage. And long story short, in Ragnarok, she gets really, really angry. And then at Kratos just throughout the entirety of the second game. And then, like, learns a lot more about Kratos and where he comes from, and ends up forgiving, or not really forgiving. I shouldn't use that word. Like that, because that's not how conflicts work. Like they'll be in the back burner for a little bit, you know. But then later down the line, like they're partners and they trust each other, and like Kratos trusts her, and Kratos never wanted to hurt Freya in the first place, because Kratos is indebted to Freya because of what she's done with Atreus. Like Freya saved his life. If it wasn't for Freya, Kratos would not have a son anymore, which a lot of people don't really talk about all that much. And then when everything gets resolved, like they become partners, and then Freya like assembles a council together and asks Kratos to be the god of war for the Norse mythology. We'll talk about the Norse god of war soon, which is probably my favorite character. That I didn't really talk about Freya much in Ragnarok because there's just so much. I'll talk about like the other roles that she has when I talk about the other characters, specifically with Odin and Balder, because yeah. All in all, Freya is fucking amazing. Because of how much screen time she has and how well written she is in 4. Sorry, LaFay. I have to acknowledge that Freya is slightly better than you. Like, just as a character, we haven't spent enough time with you. Actually, you know what? No, I don't feel that way, honestly. LaFay is the most important part of the story. Like, if it wasn't for her, the major events in the Norse trilogy wouldn't have happened. So, yeah. I have a real hard time deciding these things on tier lists. Like, I feel bad for Atreus being at the bottom of the S tier because he's had a lot more screen time than Freya. But like Freya is just like expertly written. Like, just watch God of War 4. It's so fucking good. God, just that game alone will cement, like, oh my God, Freya is like the best character ever written in the history of ever. Let's do some miscellaneous characters. The World Serpent. He is a fucking big snake, and due to some time travel shenanigans, Atreus ends up making him like in the mythology with Angrboda. Thor sends him back in time, and then like grows old over the course of hundreds of years, and then yeah, he's pretty fucking cool. A tier. I just wish he had more screen time. Every time I see him on screen, it's a delight. Wait a minute. Who the fuck is this guy? There's this guy. I kind of like him a lot, but he doesn't have a lot of screen time. He takes care of Freya's I forgot to mention something really shitty that Freya did in Ragnarok. So you know how I mentioned that Freya lives in a giant turtle? Well, on her quest for vengeance, she abandoned the turtle and left her to die in Fimbulwinter, because in Norse mythology, if Baldur dies, that starts Fimbulwinter. So yeah, that was a really shitty thing of Freya to do, honestly. But this dude like helps like the turtle be alive, and like he finally finds like his own home and shit. I feel bad for forgetting his name, but like he's a cool character. I like him. He's gonna go in B tier just because like he has a really cool design and stuff. The mermaid. I mean, it's a delight when she's on screen. I will put her above this guy because I at least know her as the Lady of the Forge. She has a fucking fantastic design and a super cool scene. I just wish that there was some lore around her. I mean, I know there probably is when Kratos writes in his journal. I'll have to look at that, but like she's like beautiful, dude, and like she like creates a really powerful weapon that ends up killing Heimdall, the all-seeing foresight master. So that's high V tier material right there. Let's do some more miscellaneous characters. Let's do the Nene brothers. I believe this is Modi. Fucking D tier character. He serves himself well as a minor antagonist, but the way he dies, actually, I'll put him in C tier just to, because like he got beaten the shit out of by his own father Thor, because he got blamed for his brother's death, Magni's death, because Kratos is the one that killed Magni. But like because he was so weakened by Thor's beating that Atreus killed Modi. But Modi's a piece of shit, so you know what? He's still in D tier. He's a pretty great villain, but I fucking hate him so much. Bro makes me feel intense negative emotions. Let's see. The Ragnarok beast. C tier. Ragnarok was really disappointing to me, like the Ragnarok beast. Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, the design is fucking badass. I love the way that the incomplete Ragnarok beast looks, because this isn't true Ragnarok. True Ragnarok has to combine with Sinmara in order for Ragnarok to be whole, but they both die in the process, which, you know, that fucking sucks. But, you know, Surtur, he didn't want that for his wife, so they swapped hearts, and due to putting his own magic inside Kratos' blades and piercing the heart that Sinmara gave him, like he became Ragnarok just from his own blade or his own fire, which is a pretty cool goddamn concept. Speaking of which, Surtur is like bottom A tier. He's so fucking goated. I love him so much. He's insanely powerful for a fire giant, and he has like really great a really great voice actor. I really like his voice a lot. Like he just sounds so old and experienced, like Kratos. When he says like, "Have you ever been in love?" It's pretty good. Like, I love how chill he is. I love this interpretation of Surtur so much. I really, really like it. Like, he's not a bad dude at all. He's just, his whole life was about Ragnarok with his wife, and like, he's like, dude, I don't want to involve her in this purely because I love her so much. Like, damn, bro, I feel you. This is like the type of dude I aspire to be, just like Surtur, willing to do anything for their wife. You know, I like Surtur. He's really cool. Unfortunately, the Ragnarok beast is gonna sit at like high C tier. I know that may seem harsh. Okay, the scene where he like tears open the heart of Asgard is really cool. Speaking of kind of mid characters. Is that Magni? Oh my god, I'm fucking stupid. I'm so dumb. I thought the big sword guy, I thought this dude was another dude in the story that I forgot the name of. That's Magni. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay. I'm putting him a little higher. By the way, both Magni and Modi, respectively, are voiced by Troy Baker and Nolan North, so I thought that was interesting. Jesus Christ, I'm so stupid. Sorry, back to mid characters. In terms of, like, cool mid character, I'd say Freyr's, like, pretty good. Freyr just had a lot of lack of screen time. I really liked him. He seemed really charismatic, like a young type of god. Like, he seems powerful enough. I wish we got to see more of Freyr and Ingrid and Freya like fighting together and stuff. Like, it was kind of disappointing to not see Freyr like just have like a substantial amount of screen time, like, because like, you know, Freyr is a part of Freya's story, so I feel like maybe in another Norse mythology game Freyr could like get some flashbacks or something. I don't know. What I like comics, anything, dude. Freyr seems like a really cool character. Just kind of mid is all. And the way he's sacrificed at the end is just really fucking random. And there was no need for it. I still felt sad about it, of course, but it's just like, why? You know? But anyways, yeah. That's how I feel about that. Yeah, Magni's a little bit like above Modi, just because Modi's like more of a coward and a piece of shit. Let's get to the Allfather. That's fucking S tier character easy. He'll be at the bottom of S tier. These like tier rankings are based off of like how much I fucking hate them, but also how well written they are. Odin is the most well written villain in this entire series. I'ma just say it now. I really fucking love Odin, like, as a villain. He sucks. He is manipulative. He is a pathetic old man grasping at straws for power. And every time he can't get something out of someone, he kills them, dude. And Odin kills his own son, Thor. Bro, why are you so awful at everything? Odin has brainwashed literally everyone to do what he wanted throughout this entire Norse... I'm just going to say duology, because is Valhalla really like a third game? Nah. I'll just say duology from now on. But yeah, like, fucking Odin is an asshole, dude. Like I said, like, when I was talking about Freya, like, Mimir was like, hey, man, you should marry your enemy. It'll make you feel better. And, like, you could have more kids, like, more god kids that way. And he's like, oh, okay. And then, like, Mimir tells us that, like, Odin seemed happy with Freya for a little bit. And then, like, Freya made the mistake of teaching Odin some of like her people's magic, and like that's when he started to be like, I got what I wanted from you. And it's weird, it's scary that Odin is so charismatic. Like Richard Schiff is, oh my god, he needs to be in more things. His voice is genuinely one of the most distinct, like charismatic like voices I've ever heard. I believe he was in a Jurassic Park movie as well, but I know Richard Schiff from this game, dude. Fucking amazing voice acting and amazing performance from Odin. Like, I love everyone's voice acting in this game, especially Kratos, Atreus, Faye, pretty much everyone. Like, everyone does a really superb job at what they do. But oh my god, Richard Schiff as Odin is, oh my god, you can just tell he's a fucking awful human being. Like the whole stories with Odin, man, it's insane. It's like the amount of shit that you hear about in him doing in God of War 4 specifically. Like, he killed all the giants because they resisted him. Like, they didn't want to join forces because they were too smart, and they were also too morally strong too, so he exterminated them all. And even then he kind of failed at that too, because the giants hid in their own soul marbles rather than just dying in Jotunheim. So he's a lot of failure, but he also succeeds at manipulation so bad it's honestly kind of scary. Like, he never compliments without reason, because he like criticizes immediately after. Like, he's a very, very interesting villain, and I genuinely cannot gush about Odin as a villain, and I fucking hate Odin. He is a fucking piece of shit. He's so much of a piece of shit that I'm tempted to put him at the bottom of B tier just to spite him, but I can't ignore how well written he is specifically too. The only hiccup that I have with Odin is that goofy ass scream that he does at the end of Ragnarok. And even then, it's not really like a nitpick. It's like just kind of funny. Let's see. I'm probably gonna save the best two characters for last, because it's gonna be a fucking battle between the two, and it may not be who you expect. You know what? I'll just do one of the Hold Your Brothers now. Brock, that's an easy fucking, like, okay, wait. I'm thinking of where to put him real quick. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting him like above Faye and below Kratos so far. Trust me, there is going to be people above Kratos, and you'll see that very soon. Like, I really love Faye, but Brock is one of the best characters in this entire series. He's a potty mouth, much like myself. I relate to that a lot. And he's very fucking honest, too, which I also majorly respect and relate to a lot as well. Honesty and loyalty is something that I value so much in the world lately. It's been feeling like it lacks that lately. And the fact that I watched like both of these games and like just seeing Brock's development and stuff is like, Brock is a fucking G, dude. He is such a good character, so honest, so willing to help the people around him, even though he doesn't outright say it. Like, he loves his family. He loves his family to a healthy amount, and it's so good to just see him and Sindri. Oh, and you trust me on this. You will see what I mean with Sindri. Sindri, I can't get started or I'll never stop. I want to be focused on Brock right now. His fucking death by the hands of Odin disguised as Tyr. Fuck you stupid piece of shit. I'm genuinely tempted to put Odin lower now because I genuinely hate that asshole so much, but he's such a good villain. Like, Odin got impatient and was like, I'm fucking annoyed at you and you need to die. And that's the only truthful thing that he ever does in the entirety of this series. Ugh. As I mentioned before, when Atreus got sick, Brock was like, is there anything I can do to help him? I can do things. Do you want me to tag along with you so I make sure you get back in one piece? Kratos and Brock's relationship is a genuine highlight, and that we don't talk about the scene with the lady in the forge, dude. Like the fact that Sindri lied to him about having his 3 soul pieces, so he's essentially a zombie, like was such a devastating fucking thing to watch him realize. Like it's not even like the fact that Sindri like told him that like you got knocked out, it's the fact that he lied about it. And it costs Brock in the long run, because without his soul piece he doesn't have a fucking afterlife, and it's all Sindri's fault. And he made a choice that wasn't his to make, and both Sindri and Brock say this. And like when Brock finds out about it, like you can tell that Brock like wants Sindri to admit it, but he never gets the chance to, because Brock dies. And what it does to Sindri, I'll get into all that when we go over Sindri, but yeah, I love Brock. He's really great, such a fucking amazing character. Brock is like the GOAT, because like it was his idea to make the spear that the lady in the forge makes. So like if I were to play Ragnarok, if I had a PS5, I would just use that fucking thing all the time. Nothing else matters. Every kill is for you, Brock. Like he wants to live in a world where like weapons don't need to be needed anymore, and like he's like, may this weapon strike true. May it be wielded with wisdom, and may it be put down when its job is done. That's his blessing towards the spear that he makes with Kratos. And it's like, bro, he didn't want to make this weapon at all. Like he just wants to live in a world where we don't need the weapon anymore. And it's so fucking sweet. Like he's such a sweet character, but like it's not outright there, you know? But you can just tell that he's sweet. Like he has a passion for art, and I relate to that so much. I want to make things, and God of War has genuinely inspired me. It's genuinely such an inspirational series, specifically the Norse games. Like in terms of character, you'd be hard to pass this one up, dude. All of these are fucking amazing. Like, yeah, you know, bro. Just go watch it already if you haven't already. I mean, that's all I gotta say, really. Let's go back to the mid characters, shall we? Well, okay, I shouldn't say mid. Durlin, he's not mid. He's pretty cool. I like him. His voice acting is pretty immaculate, so I'll put him above B tier, like above the Lady of the Forge. Like he kind of gets a chuckle out of me every time I rewatch Ragnarok. He's genuine too. Like he's friends with Brock. He's a pain in the ass, but he's friends with him. And when Brock dies, he attends the funeral. And I will talk about Brock's funeral scene, bro. Because, okay, no, not yet. Not yet. Probably the most overhated character is next, Lunda. She's being placed at the bottom of B tier. She's charming. I seriously, like... Everyone's like, oh, she's a shitty replacement for Brock and Sindri. I'm like, dude, Brock is dead and Sindri is shattered and is not going to come out of the light for a long time. What the hell did you expect? Like, she's Vanaheim's, like, blacksmith. Of course she's going to take up the position. And she's not annoying. I don't know why people keep saying that she is. I love the voice actress. She's really charming as well. And she's really funny, too. Lunda has some great lines with Kratos and Atreus specifically. I really like Lunda. And y'all just need to stop hating, honestly. I still agree with the like placement I put Freyr in. Like he's got some really great emotional moments when Freya and Freyr, like whenever Freya and him reunite and stuff. Like that's a really great scene. But again, he just needed more screen time. Like Lunda and Durlin, in my opinion, serve their roles as minor characters way more than Freyr. But Freyr is like a side character trying to be a main character. Like, he's essential to the plot in a lot of ways. And there's a minor character that is essential to literally every single thing in this entire saga, this entire Norse saga. But once again, I'll talk about him in a little bit. Alright, next we got Angrboda. Angrboda is pretty good. Like A tier. In fact, I'll put her above Surtur. I like the fact that she's got her own story and like how like the way she was raised, like John, like the prophecies, they like that's what's set in stone. I'm not gonna change prophecy. Like that's the way she was raised, you know. And like she's pretty mean to Atreus about it, but her and Atreus are like so fucking cute. Like they should get married still. Like they are so cute. And Ironwood is a great section of the game story-wise. It dragged a little too long, not gonna lie, but like it's okay. I don't mind that so much because like Atreus needs this. Atreus needs like a light world, a light-hearted world in Jotunheim, his like other home that he never knew, you know. And Angrboda's own story is actually really compelling with her grandmother and stuff, like the fact that like her escaping like through the like thoughts of animals' souls and stuff, like being animals for a few moments, like to escape the fact that like she lost like her children essentially. Angrboda's dad, like her dad is like Angrboda's grandmother was her dad's mom. There we go. Sorry, I don't know why it took me so long to say that. Jesus. Anyways, yeah, I really like Angrboda, and I don't really have much to say besides that. She's just a really consistently lighthearted character that brings light into this very bleak world of Ragnarok. Sorry. Just had to voice crack for a second there. Hugin, better than Kratos, better than I'm just kidding. Like top of C tier, I guess. Hugin escaped the mayhem and disagreed with Odin at some points. Hugin is a teleporting crow thing that like talks to Odin and disagrees with him, so it makes sense that he escaped from Odin and like got out unscathed and like lived to see like post Ragnarok. But like Hugin is such a nothing character. I don't like him, but I don't hate him either. He's just kind of very mid to me. Bro is just there. He's just squawking up a storm. You know what? I'll put him at the bottom of B tier. He deserves some love. I know Hugin has his fans. Jesus, sorry. Anyways, fuck this bitch. Fuck Athena. She's going in E tier. She ruined everything. She is a mass manipulator just like Odin, but I hate her so goddamn much. And she doesn't have that much presence in the story, but when she does show up, it is felt. I really need to watch the original trilogy to see more of her. So as a villain, no, I'm not gonna put her in E tier. Let's see. Yeah, bottom of C tier for now. That might change later on. Yeah. So that's where Athena stands. And Thor is an S tier character. Thor is so fucking compelling to me as a character. I actually like him more than Odin. because Thor is a very broken man, and he is not a good person particularly either. He's killed so many giants, like Atreus's people and Lefay's people, like just because Odin said so. Like, and he had such a hard time standing up to his father, and he was an alcoholic, and he literally beat his son Modi almost to death, and Atreus just came to finish the job. Like, he's not a good person at all, but in Ragnarok, he gets so much good development and so many good scenes and so many funny moments too. Thor is really was worth the hype, because we all knew that Thor and Kratos were going to fight each other, and that shit is fucking fire. One of the best fights in the entire series. That shit is amazing. Thor and like his domestic disputes with Sif and Thrud, and like the turmoil he goes through, the brokenness on his face, like it's all just so fucking good. I kind of don't want to say too much about Thor, because like I just want you guys to see for yourself like how good of a character Thor is. Like he's not like I mean, he's evil in some ways, like 'cause he's a compassionless murderer, like before the events of the Norse Saga, before Kratos showed up, you know. Like, goddamn, man, it's Thor is a really, really compelling and interesting character to me, and fuck that piece of shit Odin for immediately and without hesitation killing him just because he said, nah, I'm not gonna kill Kratos at the end. Fuck you, Odin. You deserve to go in A tier, but I'm sticking you like at the bottom of S just because you are so well written, and Thor is well written too. They're the well written duo, you know. Speaking of Odin's sons, Balder. Balder is a genuinely evil character to me, and he went insane after like losing all of his senses for like hundreds of years. And that's a long time to feel numb. I would probably go fucking crazy too. Like, and the fact that Odin didn't try to help him at all, specifically with like the psychosis of it all, only like, oh, I'm going to help you try and like make you feel again, it'll make you feel better, but like never supported him as like a real father. Like, god damn you, Odin, you fucking piece of shit. Don't fucking talk to me, dude. You just destroyed everything in so many ways, dude. Balder is fucking insane, and it's very easy to see why. He, for his almost entire life, for lifetimes, he's felt numb this whole time. Has not felt a single thing, cannot feel pain, cannot feel anger. He's fucking suicidal as shit, and it's really sad. Balder is a really sad character, but he's also really fucking evil too. Like, at least Thor doesn't want to harm children. Balder is completely okay with harming children and Atreus, especially when he was younger, which, yikes, dog. It's not that serious. I mean, it is that serious, but like, because we're fighting with gods and everything, but Balder was not capable of making a different choice. Like, Freya was like, we can build something new together. And she was right. Like, despite like what she did, like, they could have had something new. Freya just chose the actual worst possible time to apologize to her son. That's all. And spoiler, by the way, that's how Odin dies too. They have very similar deaths. They both have an opportunity to change at multiple points throughout the entirety of Thor and Ragnarok, and they just don't. They just don't want to change. And both of them have to be put down like fucking dogs. Which, I love the parallels between Odin and Balder. I really wish specifically we got like Thor, Odin, and Balder like interactions, especially Odin and Balder, because did like Odin care about Balder as much as Freya did? It's like kind of hard to tell. It seems like he valued Balder a lot, but like then again, he didn't really like feel bad about like when he was like, Balder, he was my best tracker. my closer. His mind was gone, sure, but he's dead because of you. He had value to me. And that's all he says about Balder, is just he has value to me. Not, oh, he was my son, how could you do this? How could you kill my son, bro? He had problems, sure, but you didn't need to do this. You started Fimbulwinter, I hate you. No, he does not give a fuck, dude, and it sucks. Balder is such a tragic character. He was doomed from the start, dude. Like, just someone who is angry and bitter throughout his entire goddamn life. Especially just, I mean, he was bound to be raised wrong anyway, just because it was Odin. Freya may have given him a chance, but Freya made the mistake of casting that spell on Balder, so, you know... after that, this man's fate was sealed. I feel so bad for him. Like he is an evil character and a piece of shit, but he still did not deserve any of this. Especially the fanfare, the lackluster fanfare of Balder. The only fanfare that was substantial about Balder's death was from Freya, which, yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? But yeah, Balder, I drew Balder. I'll put that up now. He's fantastic. Jeremy Davies is an excellent voice actor, and every single voice actor in the Norse duology is amazing, and I need to see them in more things, like, immediately. Especially Jeremy Davies and Richard Schiff. Oh my god. Now I want that Odin and Balder interaction even more. Like, it's crazy how Balder and Odin look just so fucking similar to each other. It's really scary. And, yeah, I really like Balder. He's a super fantastic villain. He is awful, but I can't help but love him anyways. He's really tragic, but also super compelling as well. Like, just the fact that he has to be put down, just like an animal, and he was slaughtered them like animals. I hate him, you know, dude. So, oh man, I really love Balder so much. He's great. And to the second to last son of Odin, let me see if I can find him here. He was here a second ago. There he is. This piece of shit gets an E tier. No, I'm just kidding. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Bottom of A tier, though, honestly. I'm tempted to put him above... No, above B tier. I fucking hate Heimdall so much. He's such a great villain. And I forget the voice actor's name for Heimdall, but... He's fucking the Flash in Kill the Justice League, which, ew. Sorry, dude, that is not a good voice for the Flash. But he's a good voice for Nightwing. He's a good voice for Heimdall. He's a good voice for a lot of other video games, too, and DC products. And Damien, he does a pretty good cocky Damien, too, so... I really like Heimdall as a villain. Fucking hate him, though. And, like, it's not clear in the story, but he is Odin's son as well. He was raised by this manipulative liar who slaughters people when they don't, like, want to join him. So why do you think Heimdall is the way that he is? Odin is literally the only one that raised him. And he's a cocky little shit who thinks he can just take whatever he wants and doesn't give a shit about who he hurts. The scenes where he was antagonistic towards Atreus specifically, like, I felt so bad for Atreus. He was probably excited to meet Heimdall, too. But also figured that he'd probably be a piece of shit, too, since all Aesir gods, except for Thor sometimes, are just awful. Just fucking awful people. There's only one Aesir god that is, like, the best character, like, above Kratos and maybe potentially above another character. but maybe not. I still don't know. I'll get to the final two near the end of this tier list. Let's see, what else is there? Sigrun, top of A tier, I think. Sigrun, I really like her. Like, her relationship with Freya and Mimir specifically is really compelling, and you feel bad about what happened with Sigrun and her brother. And, like, she has a fucking sick design. Every single Valkyrie design, really, is amazing. I love all the Valkyrie designs for every single Valkyrie. It's like Freya's design, too, is... Oh, my God, I love Freya's Valkyrie design so much. And Sigrun helped her get that design back, which, oh my God, thank you, Sigrun. I needed to see Valkyrie Freya after all this time. She's fucking badass, dude. I love Valkyrie Freya so much. Like, these are the best designed Valkyries, and the best interpretation of them, too. Like, the MCU is, whatever. Like, I'm like, now that I see, like, a real representation of Norse mythology, I'm like, fuck yeah. Let's go, dude. Okay, let's do some other minor characters next. Garm, not really all that interesting. But he was a pretty cool boss fight at the end of the day, so like top of C tier, I guess. But then Garm gets nay-nayed away to hell, I guess I should say, even though he was born in hell essentially. And then the good boy doggo Fenrir's soul gets put into Garm's body, and then he becomes a good boy. Therefore, he sits comfortably near Angrboda and the world serpent, Jormungandr. Fenrir fulfills the prophecy of, like, Loki. Like, Fenrir is a giant dog in Norse mythology. But in Ragnarok, he was just a regular wolf who got sick. But then ended up having a new body inside the Wolf of Hell, Garm. And Garm was gonna, like, destroy everything, and Kratos and Atreus was like, yeah, we can do this. And then they successfully, like, put Fenrir's soul into Garm's body, and then just nay-nayed Garm away. I like Fenrir. He's a good boy. That's all I should say. He's not really that interesting, but he gets some points for being cute, so yeah. Mimir, my boy, my lad, I'm putting him above Odin, above Balder, above Thor, kind of above Atreus too. Maybe above Freya. Nah, I don't know. Mimir is better written in Ragnarok than he is for, but like, there's no problem with Mimir in 4 at all. I actually really like him in 4. He just wasn't that interesting of a character. Like, he was, like, very clearly, like, Kratos and Atreus' conscience, like, trying to steer them on the right path, which is fine. I like that. It's just, I like when characters are a little more complex than that. I like Goody Two-Shoes characters. And everything doesn't have to be like this whole complicated thing. I just like the fact that in Ragnarok we got some more explanations as to what Mimir did in Odin's service, because he did some really reprehensible things. So there are the dwarves in Norse mythology, and they're all about, like, making things, like cannons, weapons, blacksmithing, all that. And they have incredible magic. They have the ability to go between the realm between realms and just teleport everywhere. Like, they're super cool. At least Brock and Sindri can. I don't know about other dwarves. I don't know if that was confirmed in the lore, but Mimir, like, had to negotiate with Odin to not exterminate the dwarves, and, like, be like, hey, dwarves, you need to work for Odin. I'm sorry. Like, secretly on the inside, he's like, I'm sorry, dwarves. I can't. He's gonna kill you if you don't accept. Please accept. And so, like, and Odin, to make sure that the dwarves would still work for him, like, way down the line, had them be dependent on Odin too. Like, so the dwarves get their food, Like, their medals from Asgard. Like, it's a really shitty situation. And luckily, Kratos comforts him. But, like, when Mimir enslaved a whale creature to harvest fat for Odin's lanterns, just to win Odin's favor, really, Kratos was not fucking happy. He was like, I remember the feeling of a yoke around my neck. I don't wish it upon anybody else. Which, yeah, that's fair. I like the fact that Mimir got more, like, backstory, like what he did during his time with Odin. I really, really appreciate that. It's really cool at the end of the day, man. It really is. I love Mimir. He is the best storytelling expositional device in a video game. He's got a very charming, like, he's way more clairvoyant and charming than Odin is. I mean, it's no wonder they got along so well at one point, Odin and Mimir. So, and the fact that Kratos and Mimir became like the best bros, the best bearded bros ever, the BBBs, you know, like, and during Valhalla, like, Mimir was the only one that was there for Kratos, like, while he was struggling and stuff. So I fucking love Mimir so much. He's such a great character. He is a real MVP as well. Brock speaks to me just way more. Freya is really just one of the best written characters ever. LaFay and her emotional stuff. Like, oh man, I just love these characters slightly a little bit more. Like, the gaps between, like, the S tier characters and the A tier characters is pretty substantial. Yeah. So that's all I have to really say about Mimir. He's a really cool character. And he's voiced by the amazing Alistair Duncan, who does Senator Armstrong in Metal Gear Rising, which, don't you fuck with me. Like, you can hear it, and oh my god, dude. I gotta gush about, like, a Mimir scene that nobody talks about real quick. When Atreus wants to go to Asgard, he's like, I gotta stop something bad from happening. And Mimir is like, something bad did happen! Look at me! Like, he is so unbelievably pissed. I wanted to talk about that scene for so long in relation to Mimir specifically. But, like, nobody but my girlfriend, like, knows a lot about God of War, and also my friend Dante. I need to talk about, like, God of War with him as well, because he's played all the games. But I fucking love how pissed Mimir is, because I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, but, like, once, like, Mimir was like, hey, I don't like what you're doing anymore, Odin. He imprisoned and tortured him for like 100 years, which I don't know what Mimir is. He might be mortal. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he is. He's probably like some sort of god. I'm not sure. He's just really, really old and was imprisoned in an unbreakable tree for like 100 years and like had a lot of time to think about his mistakes and stuff. And Sigrun and Mimir's relationship is super cute. They used to like have a crush on each other. And like off screen, Sigrun actually professed her love to him, and Mimir was like, I'm just ahead. I don't think I'll be enough for you. And that whole storyline in Valhalla is actually so fucking cute and kind of really sad for Mimir, because I get where he's coming from. He's just ahead. I mean, of course it doesn't matter like what limbs you don't or don't have. It's the person, you know? Who cares about some stupid limbs in a body? As long as your head's there, it could be worked out with, you know? It's really nice, you know? I really appreciate like Sigrun and Mimir's love story. I would watch the Valhalla video on Sigrun and Mimir because it's just really wholesome and stuff. But yeah, bottom line is Mimir's goated, literally, because he's a goat man. For God knows why, I don't know. Anyways, moving on to other minor characters. Ratatoskr, very, very, very good character. I'll put him like near Jormungandr or something. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable placement. Ratatoskr is voiced by a YouTuber, I forget his name, but like he wrote the lines for Ratatoskr and everything, and that's like that in its own is like super cool. I really like that. Like he's like this YouTuber dude is a really great voice actor. And I saw Ratatoskr going viral on Twitter, so it's not just me. He's a good boy. I like him a lot. I mean, there's not really much to say. He kind of progresses the story in one way or another, like helping Kratos out and stuff, but that's about it. I mean, the one like major cutscene that he has is super charming, though. I really like Ratatoskr and his other personalities. Fuck off, I'm busy. That's all I have to say about him, really. Super cool character. Wish he had way more screen time. I love the way that like his other personalities also seep into his own. Like all his other personalities, he split them up so they were their own like people, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So, I really like that. Yeah. So, that's all I have to say about Ratatoskr, really. Alright, what's next? I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I don't know some of the characters on this list. They were either boss fights or enemies that I've never seen before, or like people in Vanaheim that I don't remember the names of. So, these two. I don't know who these two are, so I'm just going to put them in E tier for now. Or you know what? I'll make a separate tier. Hang on. There we go. That makes it better. I just don't remember these two peeps. Sorry. The Norns. Let's put them. And these motherfuckers were bitches. Fucking old hags who just rode on everyone's parade. I fucking hate the Norns, dude. They sucked. They didn't outright tell Freya that like, oh, you could subvert destiny, but like he did die a needless death and it was because of you. Haha. Essentially, and like, but I mean they do bring up good points about like Freya being like Kratos didn't kill Baldur out of hate. And the whole thing when they were like, oh, you slaughter gods, but now you feel bad about it. Should I give you a crown? You will do what you do best. You will kill Heimdall for you know, like Heimdall's gonna kill your son, so you're gonna kill Heimdall before he kills your son, so you're gonna kill a god again. It's always in your nature. But is it always in Kratos' nature to kneel down towards a dwarf out of respect? Because like he just found out something devastating about himself? Huh? Is that in his nature, you old raggedy bitch? Huh? The Norns are like a very interesting type of fortune tellers. Like prophecy people, I guess. I don't know what the correct word is there, but you know what I mean. They can see the future, sort of. Or I guess the main consensus is they just know people's nature so well that it's easy to predict like what people are going to do, and they don't actually see the future, which is kind of interesting, I suppose. The Norns are pretty cool. They only show up once physically throughout the series, but they kind of fucked over Freya with the phrasing of like a really awful prophecy. So yeah, I don't really care too much for them. And now on to our final two. Fuck it. I'm gonna do Tyr, the Norse god of war first. Easily better than Kratos at every second of every day, dude. Okay. There we go. Okay. Tyr is one of the best characters in this series, and it's amazing how so little screen time he has. It's like the amount of the time the real Tyr has. I love everything about him. I love how open-minded, how curious, how compassionate, how willing he is to help, how willing he is to fight for peace, not just stand around and be a pacifist like Odin depicted him as in his disguise. I love his voice actor. I love his voice. I love the way he speaks. I love how he encourages people the right way and just says what like needs to be said in that moment. Like Tyr is so emotionally like intelligent along with Kratos and Ragnarok. It's just we don't spend a whole lot of time with Tyr in the main game, but we do spend a significant amount of time with him in Valhalla. And I'm so glad we did, because I'm not going to lie to you. In the May game, he has like 5 minutes of screen time. Like, so in the story, Odin disguises himself as Tyr, and like Durlin's like, oh, Tyr's in there, because Durlin and the rest of the dwarves like work for Odin technically, except for Lunda, you know. And as a result, like Atreus, before the events of Ragnarok start, he's been looking for Tyr, because Tyr, the god of war, like helped the giants, helped them so much that the giants gave both Tyr and Mimir Bifrost eyes in order to travel to different realms. It's like super cool, like magic technology eye thingies. So, yeah. Anyways. Like fake Tyr is in Svartalfheim, and like he like puts on a performance. It's like, oh, get away from me, Odin, you know, like pretty much for the whole like time that he's in Svartalfheim. But like Tyr and Kratos and Atreus like break him free, and like there's a lot of like holes in Odin's disguise as Tyr. I would check out Fat Red's video on fake Tyr. Like it's a really great video and points out every inconsistency within it. But yeah, I really, oh my god. And then like fake Tyr, aka Odin, was the one to kill Brock. So yeah, I seriously fucking hate Odin. I'm so tempted to put him at the top of A tier right now. Oh my god, the impulse is there. Help! Oh my god, it's so close. He would look so good right here, wouldn't he? I can't. He's too well written. I hate him so much, but he's like so compelling as a villain. Jesus Christ, man. It's quite the dilemma, isn't it? But anyways, yeah. Fake Tyr is a piece of shit. He like makes Tyr look like a fucking fool, and I hate Odin for that especially. And for killing Brock as Tyr, and like just using Tyr as like a meat shield essentially. Like, and I guess Tyr had to be kept alive. I don't know where he was imprisoned. I think it was like somewhere in Midgard somewhere. I think. But like Kratos and Freya managed to get Tyr out, and like he journeyed across all the realms, and like he got to be free after like hundreds of years. And like while Odin was like putting on a caricature like, oh wow, I'm Tyr, and Odin has broken me. He's so handsome. I mean terrifying. Help me. Tyr was nonplussed by it. He did not break at all when he was being tortured by Odin. Like, Tyr was just chatted his way through it. Like, he was a Giga Chad. He was like, yeah, I kind of got tortured by Odin and stuff. Odin's dead? That means the realms can live in peace. And, like, Tyr is so fucking kind in the main game towards everyone. Like, especially Kratos and Freya. And Mimir too. Like, I talked about how mid Freyr was as a character. Like it's a pretty like good mid character, but you know, still not the best character ever or anything. But Tyr, like, genuinely, like, what he says about Freyr is like, he's like, he sacrificed everything to save you guys. And he like wants to pay tribute to Freyr in his own way, like by himself. And he like tells that to Freya, and he's like, of course, and she's like, of course. And it's like, bro, Tyr is genuinely so sweet. How is this man a god? Like, this is insane. He is literally the nicest god in the entire series, besides Kratos, and a couple others as well. There's very few nice gods in this series, but Tyr actively was a G just throughout his entire life. I'm sure he's made mistakes. He almost died by Garm because in regular Norse mythology, Tyr like gets his arm bitten off by Garm. But I think in regular Norse mythology, he doesn't grow it back, but in this version of events, he does, and he like conjures up the spirits of Helheim to do it or something, or like he dies for a minute to get his arm back, which grants him access to Valhalla on a whim out of technicality, which I think is really fucking funny. Like Ro just did that and he was like, "Oh, I have access to Valhalla? That's awesome." Tyr in Valhalla, oh my god. Like the way that he helps Kratos get through all of his past struggles in Greece. Like, that's where I know most of my information from about Kratos in Greece, besides a few clips of Kratos fighting Zeus, of course, and, like, Ares and everything like that. But, like, oh, man, like, the way he was so willing to, like, he's like, such a good therapist. Like, he like, fights Kratos and is probably one of the more powerful, like, gods Kratos has faced. In a series of powerful gods and dangerous ones. Like Tyr is deadly, bro. I think he could beat Heimdall if he really tried. Also, I forgot to mention that apparently, take this with a grain of salt slightly, but I think this is canon at this point. Odin is Tyr's father in regular Norse mythology anyway. But then in other versions, like, there was another person who was his father, like, Tyr Odinson. Like, I don't know, dude. But if that's the case of Odin being, like, Tyr's father in this universe, then that would be fucking insane. Because Tyr gets tortured like shit throughout, like, the Norse saga, and we hear all these stories about it through Odin's disguise as Tyr and through Mimir as well. Like, nobody's ever seen Tyr, and, like, he got tortured and shit, and, like, Tyr just became one with the Force. He just became one with peace, and, like, the way he's so encouraging and willing to help people is genuinely so inspirational. Bro, I genuinely wish he was my dad. Like, he would be, like, such a great father figure if he had ever had kids. I fucking love Tyr so much. Even more so than Kratos. I know that's kind of a crime, but, like, dude, this is my list. Tyr is goated. He throughout everything, he stayed towards the light. He did not, like, fall under the torture of Odin, that piece of shit. And, like, I feel bad that he was made, like, such a clown by Odin. Like, fuck you, dude. I'm putting you in A tier after this video's done, but the real list will be in this video, so yeah. Tyr has so many cool powers in Valhalla, and I am, like, the fucking the animation team and, like, choreographers of God of War Valhalla. Oh my god. Thank you for feeding me Tyr content. I needed more of him. I love Tyr's voice. I love everything about Tyr. He's such a genuine inspiration to me. He's what I strive to be in a man, you know? Like, compassionate, willing to help others when they're at their lowest. Like, seeing that it's not too late for some people, you know? It's fucking, like, inspiring shit, man. I really, really love Tyr so much, man. Ugh. Okay. Let's move on to the final character, shall we? The other Hold Your Brother that I've neglected to talk about this entire time. Sindri is above every single other character. Easiest decision of my life, actually. I'm sorry if I get a little personal while talking about Sindri, but like Sindri, I am somebody who used to give a lot. I gave and gave and gave, just hoping to feel good, you know? I really liked making people feel good and, like, you know, showing people that I cared about them through gifts and everything. And, like, at the end of the day, I just get trampled on, even if unintentionally sometimes. And the fact that these said people never apologized to me for it afterwards, bro, shit did irreparable damage to me. And then everything fell apart after that. Like, I am someone who has given so goddamn much. Like, I've given these people my secrets, my everything. Like, I gave all of these people every ounce of trust that I've ever have, and I'm slowly trying to rebuild my trust for others, and it is not easy. Which, this point in my life, I'm still trying to grapple with the fact that my ex-best friends did what they did. But, like, it's just hard. It's fucking difficult. I still think about them sometimes, you know? And it's really hard to talk about this. It really is. Because I don't know if they're listening or not. Because they may be. They used to stalk my pages a lot. Even though, like, they blocked me and then unblocked me and then I blocked them. I'm so glad that they're in another city entirely, because I never want to see them again. I would not be able to, like, I mean, I probably would be able to hold a conversation, but, like, it would hurt. Because this was, like, someone that I trusted so much. Like, it's, like, the type of friendship that, like, you genuinely feel inseparable and that no one was going to be able to get between it. The friendship, you know? But then something had to get in between the friendship, and it was them. It was the best friend in question. At the end of the day, they may have been dating my best friend's best friend that really solidified everything about, like, the whole abandonment thing. But, like, at the end of the day, it was them. They were just not a good person, would talk about suicide all the time. Like, suicide jokes all the time. And I don't fucking appreciate suicide jokes. Like, when it's every single day, you know? I mean, I don't know what that person is like now. I mean, I hope they're doing well. Of course I hope they're doing well. I mean, there's always a chance for change. I just, at this point in my life, I'm still trying to move on, even though it's been about, like, 3 years and stuff. Like, they have fundamentally changed the way that I think and talk to people. So, getting on here and doing YouTube is a very hard thing to do. It's hard to open myself up. But I want to, just to spite them, to spite what they did to me. It feels like the worst betrayal ever, even more so when my father abandoned me. You know? It's, you know, I feel like Sindri is like that with Atreus. Like, Sindri tries to stop Atreus all the time from doing just really stupid shit and, like, just trying to be there for Atreus. But, like, what me and Sindri have come to realize is we cannot control everything. No matter how hard you try to care for the people you love the most, you just can't. Bad things are going to happen to good people regardless of how much you try to control that. There's nothing anybody can do about it. And I didn't learn that at the time, and I felt like I was too clingy a lot, and, like, they were off talking to other people, and I just felt left here for a long time, you know? I feel for fucking Sindri. I feel like, dude, Sindri is a kin. Like, the fact that he just gave so much, I relate so much specifically to that. You guys have no idea. I gave so much to so many people only for it to be thrown back in my face some way. Like, and fucking Sindri snapped when Brock died. And, like, bro didn't take shit anymore. Like, he turned into this bitter, angry person. And I don't fucking blame him. He was, like, kind of in the wrong for lashing out at Atreus, though, but not wrong for calling him out on, like, how much he, like, took away, like, how much he gave Atreus and Kratos, and how little he was thanked for it. Like, it was not it was not Atreus or Kratos' fault that Brock died whatsoever. Sindri even says that rescuing Tyr was a good thing to do, yet the fake Tyr ends up murdering Brock anyway. So deep down, Sindri knows that that's true, but Sindri was absolutely right in calling out both Kratos and Atreus for not, like, appreciating him. That's what the main thing is with Sindri. He isn't fucking appreciated. He was so funny before, and, like, I loved how sweet he was, and, like, bro, he just kept speaking to me the more and more I watched him on screen. He's such an endearing character, but then became this fucking vengeful spirit like Kratos in God of War 3, like the Greece God of War 3. Like, it was insane to watch, dude. I absolutely adored seeing Sindri so upset. I mean, it was really hard to watch. Like, I'm going to be totally honest. It was really hard to watch at the end of the day. Seeing Sindri not only just fucking shit up without a care in the world, but Sindri is a germaphobe. Like, a supreme germaphobe. And when Brock died, he just did not care anymore. He ripped off his, like, fucking antibacterial gloves and just went to work like Brock does, you know? It's crazy. Like, that moment when Brock died, it literally just transformed him. But, like, dude was on a mission, and oh my god, even though it was really hard to watch, seeing Sindri fuck shit up in Asgard, like, during the Battle of Ragnarok, oh my god, that was so good. And, you know, again, I mean, Sindri was kind of wrong for lashing out at Atreus specifically for bringing fake Tyr into their home, when he himself said that bringing Tyr into Sindri's home was a good thing to do. But the fact that he's still mad at him feels kind of justified to me. Yeah, this is my list. I know this is like a really weird, like, tier list of, like, how much I like God of War characters. But, like, dude, Sindri at this point in my life, I genuinely relate to him so much. Like throughout high school, I just gave, and I just never felt appreciated, really. That may be more of like what I was like back then. I expected, like, every little gift to be reciprocated, and that's on me. I was, you know, we were all high schoolers. We were kids at the time, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on myself back then. And, you know, I wasn't perfect, and a lot of us aren't perfect, you know. But I've had a lot of time to grow and change and be with the people that I know love me, and it's transformed me, you know. I've become a better person because of my girlfriend, Dante, Sean, and Ellie, you know. Like, those are my 4 friends, and they are there for me when I need them. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, this has been really hard, really hard to talk about this. I've been, like, fidgety ever since I started talking about Sindri, but it's just because I relate to him so much and his story. Like, he had all this cool shit that he wanted to give people, and he just didn't get appreciated for it. And I feel like that's a crime. But his character arc, and oh my god, I need to talk about that funeral scene with Brock. I'm not lying when I say this, okay? This may change with the Walton Files 5, because there probably will be a funeral scene, but Brock's funeral is one of the best pieces of media I have ever seen. Like, the best piece of fiction I have ever seen. Literally every single thing about it was executed flawlessly. Most shows wish they could have a scene this good. The music, the voice acting, oh my god, that music. It would not be the same without that funeral music, dude. It is one of the most devastating things I've ever heard. And so, I want to tell you guys about a riddle that Brock told Mimir throughout Ragnarok. And it was such a simple riddle, but Mimir just couldn't figure it out. Brock's like, What was it again? He asks Mimir, what gets bigger the more you take away? And Mimir, for the life of him, couldn't figure it out. But during the funeral scene, when Sindri barely even says anything besides, I love you, Brock, and stifled sobs, when we see Sindri walking away, he drops the fire that was used to light the arrow for Brock's funeral. And Mimir finally has the answer to that riddle late game. Like, he just says a hole. And Kratos is like, and Kratos and the audience are like, what? And then he goes, gets bigger the more you take away. And just the way that ties into Sindri's character arc at the end of this game, the fact that it's a fucking void of his former self, the fact that he's so broken, the fact that he's so numb and angry, like, Sindri is the whole now. And then Kratos, like, grunts in response, but then, like, realizes what it means, and then he, like, grunts again. Like, it's the type of noise that's like, fuck, dude. Like, oh my god, like, you have to watch Ragnarok in order to, like, truly understand how good of a writing feat that is. I genuinely cannot describe the feelings that I had when I heard that revealed for the first time. Like, the riddle being answered and the way Kratos reacts to it. Like, it's like he's reacting with the audience. It is immaculate. One of the best scenes in media, and it's all thanks to Sindri and Adam J. Harringston. Wait, let me check on that. Sorry, his name is Adam J. Harrington. He was the fucking standout of this game at the end, dude. In terms of a voice acting, any voice acting at all, he fucking knocked it out of the park. Like, I genuinely need Adam J. Harrington to be in more things, more than Richard Schiff. I know Richard Schiff has been in a couple of, like, funny skits, I guess, but Adam J. Harrington, I need to watch his stuff, just out of respect for his role as Sindri, dude. Oh my god. And I still need to finish that interview that they had with him and what his character arc was like. And yeah, Sindri, in my opinion, is the best character in this entire series. His transformation is one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in a piece of media. It is not a happy ending for Sindri. He walks away into the dark. We don't know where he's going to go, but if Atreus gets his own game, I will fucking kill someone if Sindri is not in this game. Like, Sindri deep down, like, knows inside that it wasn't Atreus' fault for, like, the things that happened. But it is Kratos and Atreus' fault at the end of the day. Just from the fact that they didn't appreciate him. Because Sindri did give them everything. He was right in saying that. But yeah, this is my tier list, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It may take a little while to edit, but this will either come out before or after the Q&A video. But I just kind of wanted to do this video for myself, really. That's about it. What do you guys think of the list? Let me know if you know about God of War in the comments, because I'd love to talk about it. See you guys later. Bye.